At first glance, this looks like a simple court scene, a group of people frozen in a room. A little girl in a bright dress, her attendants, a dog lying on the floor, and a painter working quietly at the edge of the canvas. But here is the strange thing. Almost no one in this painting is looking at each other. They are all looking somewhere else, not at the child, not at the painter, not at us. So the question is simple and disturbing. Why, on this painting, is everyone looking in the wrong direction? This painting is Las Meninas, created by Diego Velázquez in 1656. It is considered one of the most important works in the history of Western art, and also one of the most confusing. At first, everything feels calm. We see the Infanta Margarita, the young daughter of the Spanish king. She is surrounded by her maids of honor, servants, a chaperone, a guard, even a dog. Velázquez himself stands on the left, painting something we cannot see. But the longer you look, the more uncomfortable it becomes. Look at their faces. The maid on the left turns toward the child, but her eyes drift past her. The maid on the right looks outward, slightly tense. The man in the doorway pauses, frozen mid-step, staring forward. The painter looks directly at the viewer, and the child, she looks straight ahead. Calm, still, almost aware. They are all focused on something, but what? Now look at the back wall. There is a mirror, and inside that mirror, barely noticeable at first, we see two faces. The king and the queen, reflected, distant, ghost-like. Suddenly, the entire painting rearranges itself in your mind. If the king and queen are reflected there, then they must be standing where we are, which means we are standing in the place of royalty. We are occupying the most powerful position in the room, and everyone in the painting is looking at us. Velázquez isn't painting the Infanta, he is painting the king and queen, but instead of showing them directly, he places them outside the canvas, in our space. This is not just a portrait. Think about how radical this was for the 17th century. Velázquez was a court painter, a servant of the king, someone who was supposed to remain invisible. And yet, here he is, standing tall, brush in hand, staring straight at the monarchs, or staring at us, placing himself on the same visual level as royalty. This was Spain's golden age, but also a time of decline. The empire was weakening, the court was obsessed with appearances, rituals, hierarchy. Everything had its place, except this painting. Look at the man in the doorway. He is half in shadow, half in light, caught between entering and leaving. Some art historians believe he represents time, or transition, or the boundary between reality and illusion. Others say he is simply a court official, but his position is too perfect to be accidental. He stands exactly where depth collapses into space. Even the dog feels strange. It should react, move, wake up, but it doesn't. It lies there like part of the furniture, as if this moment is frozen, not in time, but in awareness. And then there is the child. The Infanta Margarita is the brightest point in the painting. Light wraps around her dress, everyone orbits around her, yet she is not the true center. She is the excuse, the real subject is seeing itself. Velázquez builds a world where every gaze points outward, toward us, toward the unseen, toward the question of who is watching whom. Are we viewers or participants? Are we looking at a painting or are we being looked at? Centuries later, philosophers would obsess over this painting. They would call it a meditation on power, art, and perception. A visual paradox, because once you realize what is happening, you can unsee it. The painting watches you back. That is why everyone is looking the wrong way. They are not ignoring the scene. They are acknowledging your presence. You are standing where the king once stood. You inherit his gaze, his authority, his vulnerability, and Velázquez, quietly, takes his place beside you. So the real question isn't why they look away from each other. The real question is, why did Velázquez want you to be here? And when you stand in front of Las Meninas, who do you think is really in control? Tell me in the comments, when you look at this painting now, do you feel like a viewer or part of the scene?